Hey everyone, welcome back to the PL Recap. This is basically the series that we go through every WWE PLE and we basically sum it up, give it our overall rating out of 10 at the end and just pick out the key moments from every match and every single segment that happened throughout the whole show. This is the PL Recap Crown Jewel Edition. So just to note, last time I made a video was back, I think in August for SummerSlam. I got busy and just didn't have the motivation and energy to do these videos alongside with my studies and everything else. However, I've been watching, even in the UK, before the clocks went back, up till 3 AM, 2 AM. I've been staying up watching every WWE episode, Fridays and Mondays, and PLEs in the middle. Bad Blood happened, which was such a fantastic PLE. That has my match of the year on it, and I didn't end up speaking about it, which is a big shame. However, Crown Jewel has just come and gone straight after. I'm here now to give my PL recap and hopefully get back into the swing of things as best I can, because I do love making these videos. And I want to make sure I'm doing it on a consistent basis because it's good to have consistency, and especially when it's a passion thing like this. WWE is one of my passions, so yes, it's always good to come here and talk to the camera, like-minded people and such. Comments are always open. I love hearing people's opinions on it. And just before we get into it, last thing, hood's gonna be up all day today. The hair is a disaster. Let's get into WWE Crown Jewel. So the opening match was the OG Bloodline versus Timu, Fake, B-Tech, whatever you want to call it, Fake Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga, with Tonga Loa scampering around on the outside. So, going into this match, again, because I've been making no videos, I didn't make a prediction. Normally we would review my predictions, but you're going to have to take my word for it. I just predicted that Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso. I got caught up in the cinema of the Bloodline story on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, and I just found myself caught in the sauce, lost in the sauce, as LA Knight would say, and just thought they would steamroll them just to keep this upward trajectory on how the OG Bloodline's getting back together and everything. And that was the complete opposite. The complete opposite. They found themselves outnumbered. They found themselves outmaneuvered. Jey and Roman didn't click, and that really was kind of the big turning point in the match when Jey didn't tag in Roman, opting for Jimmy instead. It was fantastic to see the Usos together. The match, in normal Bloodline fashion, was slow-paced at the start, ramped up at the end, and just was an overall pretty good match. Very solid. Jacob Fatu is just unbelievable. Solo is getting more and more likeable, in my opinion, and he's getting better in the ring. And obviously Tama Tonga's not bad at all. Tonga Loa did his part on the outside. Another thing I want to point out just before we get into the rating of the match, if it was a thumbs up, thumbs down, what I thought about the after the match shenanigans, during the match shenanigans. I do want to also say the crowd in Saudi Arabia was the best crowd I've seen. Way better than even King and Queen of the Ring back in April, I think it was. So much better, so much better. And yeah, like I said, I thought it was a good match. It gets a thumbs up from me on a match perspective. On a storytelling perspective, it gets like 3 thumbs up in a row, because I think it did exactly what it needed to. Like I said, I was blinded by the fact that I just was running with the OG Bloodline and the upward trajectory it was going, getting the OG, the Usos back together, getting Jey back in the fold, Roman Reigns yeeting last Friday, and yeah, I was kind of lost in that. But in order to get Sami Zayn back into the fold, in order to make it something that we can go into Civil War or Bloodline Civil War games or whatever it's going to be, to take ourselves to there, we kind of needed, again, a bit more rebuilding, and it couldn't have just been like this easy like I felt like it was going to be. So yes, I think it was a good choice. Another thumbs up is that I think it was a great choice to have Solo's Bloodline win. Solo pinning Roman Reigns, I wouldn't say clean, because the referee obviously got injured during the whole final segment, and obviously Jacob Fatu was taking the Usos out and Roman, even though he wasn't tagged in, but still, I just thought, yeah, decision was great. It didn't make Roman look weak. Look, Roman never looks weak. He barely gets pinned. He can take a pin from Solo Sikoa. It's not a problem. And yeah, the Sami Zayn stuff at the end, where they all had Solo begging and like cornered basically in the middle of the ring, where they were all in the corner, all 4 of them, and then the tease beforehand that Sami Zayn was going to turn heel, just for Sami Zayn to obviously help Jay and then accidentally haluva kick Roman Reigns. Just cinema. Bloodline cinema has returned, ladies and gentlemen. It is back in full form, and I couldn't be happier. And I cannot wait to see where this goes Monday, because it seems they're going to take over Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes, because on the path to Civil War games, to Civil War, or just War Games, that's the one. On the path to War Games, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Progression and a great opener for the show. Great start. And then straight away we move on to the fantastic Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match between Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, Damage Control, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, and Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. First and foremost, I think the crowd at the beginning of this match, straight after the opening match, dropped quite drastically, which made me quite nervous, because there's obviously this history between Saudi crowds and women's wrestling matches. But I think we'll get onto it later, but I think, yeah, my worries were very quickly quelled by the later on resurgence of the crowd. But straight off the bat, that's what I noticed. Straight away, I instantly said, banger match incoming, because these women know exactly how to put on bangers. Every single one of these women. If you don't watch NXT, you won't know who Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend are. However, if you've been watching Raw and SmackDown the past couple of weeks, you will have seen their faces and probably been like, who are they? And then they would have been involved in matches, and then you would have found out. So basically, yes, they are fantastic. You know how Damage Control is and how good Kairi Sane and Io Sky is. You know Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and obviously you know Jade and Bianca, obviously the champions going into tonight. You know how good they are. Everything was pointing to a fantastic match, and it did not disappoint. Personally, I didn't notice that the stipulation wasn't going to be 4 of them in at once, and then they can tag their obviously partner in, because obviously it's a 4-team tag team match, but it was 2 people in at once, so you'd have to like sneak a tag in, or it kind of broke into mayhem. But I kind of like organized chaos matches, like car crashes, but you know where you kind of steered into the right place anyway. Those are the kind of matches I like, and that's exactly what this devolved into. It was fantastic. Io Sky might be my favourite women's wrestler on planet Earth. She might be the best women's wrestler on planet Earth. That might be why. She is so good. I think everyone had good offense. I think everyone took like a good amount of bumps as well. It wasn't just Chelsea Green, who's very easy to take bumps and be fine about it, but it wasn't just her taking bumps, or what I expected her to take the pin. It wasn't just that, it was all the teams were getting good offense off, and they all showed themselves off in, I think, a very good way. They all had their 5 minutes of like offense on their own, and then when it devolved into chaos, everyone was just getting good things out of nowhere. High flying moves from Io Sky, and just, again, my favourite tag team move in women's wrestling right now is the move where Io Sky and Kairi Sane, Io lifts her up, and then the insane elbow just onto whoever's laying dormant on the floor. That is my favourite tag team move in wrestling right now. It's so good and so crisp. And yeah, who I wanted to win, if I had predicted, I would have thought this is a perfect place for Jade and Bianca to drop the titles, because they don't even need to be involved in the finish. That's how most triple threats, fatal 4-ways go. It's a great way to protect the champions in losing. But I would have predicted, honestly, like Damage Control maybe, especially because they pinned. I believe it was Io Sky who got the pin on Friday night. And yeah, I kind of expected that, but honestly, I was not mad at the decision. I wasn't mad at the match. The match, thumbs up. Decision, thumbs up. And I think how we got from A to B, great match, and I'm just happy with how it went. Your women's tag team champions are still Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. That might not change for a while. And we move on to the next match at Crown Jewel 2024. The next match that happened straight after that was Big Bronson Reed versus Seth frickin' Rollins. Now, the build-up has been fantastic. While Seth was away, Big Bronson Reed building himself up with the Monster versus Monster match against Braun Strowman, and just basically Big Bronson Reed is now a superstar. And Seth Rollins being one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. In my era especially, I feel like he's one of the GOATs from my era. I think the tail of this match was fantastic. Not even waiting for Bronson Reed's entire entrance to come through, Seth beelines it for him. They have this opening 5 minutes where they are just on the stage and you're thinking, oh, is it going to go backstage? Is it going to... Bronson's trying to throw him off into the pyro and into the lights and off the stage. And eventually they make their way into the ring so that the match can actually get started. And the tail of the match was fantastic. I was so pleased with it. You have this big guy who's unshakable versus this guy who's the smaller guy though. So he's trying to do different tactics to knock him down, throwing the kitchen sink at him, everything possible. And Bronson Reed is not going down. Instantly, you have a curb stomp, he's getting up. Early on in the match, like straight away, Seth ate a tsunami and I'm thinking he's about to be squashed. But obviously, Bronson Reed goes for a second one and Seth rolls out the way. And it was just a great match. I'm hoping it's not the only one. My prediction was that Bronson Reed was going to win. He didn't. Seth Rollins persevered. He pushed through. He had to go all the way up to the top rope and deliver a super stomp. Yeah, Bronson Reed had to eat like 3 stomps and then a super finisher just to get 1, 2, 3 tapped out. I just thought it was a great match. Bronson Reed even got like a nasty like bump and he had a cut on his eye where it was bleeding. And he just stood there after the match. He's lost, but he's got straight back up. Because of how hard Seth had to dig deep to beat him, and eventually he did, and as he's trying to walk away, Bronson Reed's standing there like, bring on more. With blood coming down, like, look, if there was aura ratings in WWE, Bronson Reed's was already quite high. Bro, it just went up more. Insane moment where Seth's just like, what's wrong with you? And Bronson Reed's just like, more. They could easily make this a feud that Bronson Reed wins off the back of a loss straight off the bat, which we've seen in the past. Think of how Sami Zayn retained at, I think it was Money in the Bank earlier this year, and then just for Bron Breakker to just demolish him twice in a row. We could see that again, and I'm okay with that because Seth Rollins can take it. A good match, thumbs up from me. Decision, I will give it a thumbs up. A well-told story, a story that we've seen loads of times when there's been a smaller guy versus a big meaty monster. And yeah, a well-drawn match. A good job, fantastic. And then we move on to the first ever Women's Crown Jewel Championship. Building into this match, I thought they did a good job at, obviously they had Tiffy going over to Raw, they had Raquel Rodriguez, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, and of course Liv Morgan going over to SmackDown. They, in a short time, did do well to build up this kind of thing between Nia Jax and Liv Morgan. My favourite part of Nia Jax feuds is Tiffany Stratton. I thought this would be the perfect place for us to have history be made for a women's or men. This hasn't happened with the men as far as I can remember. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. A women's wrestler cashing in on a match where both the World Heavyweight Champion and the WWE Universal Champion are in the same match, and you could cash in on either one. That was the main excitement in the build-up. So coming into this match, I was convinced we were going to get a cash-in. And then Tiffy time hits, she comes all the way down, and Nia sends her out, and yeah, it's a fake one, she keeps coming back. And to basically almost practically helps, like a 4v1 of outside interferences against Nia. And if you've been on WWE Twitter, Instagram, anything of their socials, there's a interview with Tiffy trying to explain herself, and then Nia's come chasing her down. She books it. Look, this was good for the story to move it along, but it was kind of the first real inkling for me with this PLE to say that it's kind of like what people are calling it, like an exhibition. Crown Jewel Champion, Liv Morgan, your new and first ever Women's Crown Jewel Champion, I think was deserved. I really want to hate Liv Morgan, like, same with Dom, I want to hate them. Like, I can boo Dom till the sun goes down, but Liv Morgan's meant to be this really bad, evil, kind of conniving, cunning woman, but it's really hard to hate her. It's so difficult because she is so likeable as a person outside of WWE. You see her crying when she wins it, hugging Papa Triple H, Father Levesque. Just, yeah, it's hard to hate, and her not, it's hard to, feel aggrieved that she won, even though she won completely underhandedly. But yeah, I was very just happy that she won. Your inaugural Women's Crown Jewel champion versus champion winner is Liv Morgan. And then we move on to the match between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. I say match because Kevin Owens and Randy Orton were scheduled to have a match one-on-one within normal one-on-one standard rules. As Randy gets into the ring, he's doing his whole thing, and then he comes down, Kevin, chair, bosh. Now, I'm thinking, okay, disqualification, GG's, moving along. Nope. Match didn't even start, so they were still selling this as if, okay, he's hit him with the chair, but the match hasn't started, so you can't get disqualified. They sell that point, and they keep going, they keep brawling, the referee eats a stunner, and then the two general managers of the Raw and SmackDown shows, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, come into the fold, trying to separate them two, talk them both down, and then Adam Pearce eats an RKO, which I popped so loud for. They basically go over the barricade and then continue on, still in the arena, not behind stage, just into a little space, and then Kevin Owens just elbow drops from like a level above and elbow drops Randy through like 2 tables. It was insane. Kevin got the win out of that exchange, but there was no match. I predicted Kevin would win. I wasn't disappointed the match didn't happen. This is what I would have wanted, a match between them after the build-up with Paul, father, Triple H, Papa H, Levesque, boss, came out and said, look, this isn't the same Kevin. This is exactly what I wanted. So, no match, but thumbs up booking and thumbs up decision all round, as long as no one's actually hurt. So, yes. Let's go on to the next actual match that happened at Crown Jewel. We move on to the triple threat match between LA Knight, Andrade, and Carmelo Hayes. I'm going to introduce some new factor. I'm going to give my Match of the Night Star Award. So that star next to the match. Match of the night by a good distance was this. The moves that Andrade and Carmelo were doing were fantastic. LA Knight's moves were still fantastic. The in-ring chemistry between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes is so unbelievable, and this time LA Knight fit into it better. It didn't feel like he was just there to suck the life out of it and take away from the whole thing. I felt like he fit in better and kind of more smart, letting those two get on with it. When he needed to get involved, he did. And I thought the finish was so smart. The double, that BFT was fantastic to put it away, and it came out of nowhere. So yeah, that's what I want to see more from the BFT, because it's kind of a basic finisher, but he's built, it's growing on me. It is growing on me. More out of nowhere stuff like that is kind of what I'm looking for. But yeah, the match and star, 3 thumbs up and a star, fantastic. Decision, anyone could have won it, and I think I would have been happy later on anyway. And yeah, crowd was great. Everything, honestly, that was great. That was for me the highlight of the night. Yeah. Fantastic. We'll go on to the final match of Crown Jewel 2024 next. And we go into the main event of Crown Jewel 2024 in Saudi Arabia, the capital Riyadh. And it is Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. Champion versus champion. Dream matches from both brands coming together. And I think, despite the feeling that it's not really helping the story, it's kind of taking both of them out of their own brands and forcing them together to not really amount to anything long-term, exhibition kind of thing, I was still hyped for the match. And it did not disappoint. The match was much like Randy Orton versus Gunther at King and Queen of the Ring, the final. It was very much like two wrestling megaminds trying to find ways to out-wrestle the opponent rather than use their physicality in such a way. And it was a very good match. Cody was fantastic. Gunther, the build-up, I thought everything was fine. Again, the Crown Jewel Championship, it's big and it's in your face and it's very Saudi show. Not my favourite. It's probably my least favourite belt they've ever shown. Well, not ever, but my least favourite belt that's around in the WWE right now. The ring looks so much better. I'm so glad that's what they're going to take back to America. Yeah, I thought the match was fantastic. The decision, I thought it was smart. I think people were quite frustrated because it ended like that, considering how they were building it up. Cody finding different ways to get out of the sleeper. Obviously, Gunther just eating Crossroads and not being pinned. And it was just the wrestling brain got outmastered. It didn't come down to, oh, you've beaten me, you've done 3 Crossroads, and now I'm done. It was Cody managed to hulk up and tank a power slam, and he kept finding different ways to wriggle out the sleeper hold, and it was just them out maneuvering each other rather than, oh, I've been passed out, or oh, I've been slammed and now 1, 2, 3, or 3 Crossroads and, you know, the 5 moves of doom from Cody and Gunther can't move anymore. It was very much they were hitting each other with their finishes, they were managing to get up miraculously, and it came down to who in the last minute had that veteran experience and that brain. And while in the sleeper, Cody rolls over, shoulders are pinned, 1, 2, 3, and he just rolls through and basically steals it. And that's exactly what I wanted, because that makes Gunther look not bad at all. And that's the one worry with champion versus champion. One champion and one championship in turn gets put down while the other one gets brought up, buried, which is a term overused in this community. But yeah, I haven't got much to say. It was a great match. It wasn't match of the night, but it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It was great. The moment was lovely. Gunther said it best in the build-up. Cody is the poster boy, the face of the company. I think WWE wants that man to be kind of the first ever. A good, wholesome finish. They shook hands. Liv came out. And again, it's funny because she did just, you know, absolutely bullshit her way to this title. But I can't feel angry at her. I don't sit here like, you don't deserve this. She's there hugging Paul Father, Triple H, Dad Levesque, boss, and just hugging him and basically almost in tears, and her and Cody celebrating. Honestly, Liv deserves it and Cody deserves it, and not that the other two didn't, but I think Gunther can take a loss like that. And to be fair, one takeaway from Crown Jewel that I think will last longer than Crown Jewel is, I think this is the final nail in the coffin between Nia and Tiffy, and I think we're like any day now, Survivor Series or Saturday night's main event, one of the two. I think that's when we're going to get a cash in, because she can't keep stalling and hiding from Nia much longer. So I think the match, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. The decision, thumbs up. The presentation, it's Saudi Arabia. They go all out, and you love it or hate it. It is the best of the best in terms of presentation. And yeah, the pyro, everything great. It just felt like a crowning moment, personally, for them, which I can get behind. What a year, by the way, it's been for Cody Rhodes. 2024, pinning Roman, being other than Jey Uso in Bloodlines of War, like the first guy to do it in forever, and pinning Gunther, being like, I think the third or fourth person in WWE, like, ever to pin him, other than like Ilya and obviously Sammy. But yeah, what a year for Cody. And Liv Morgan is now a perennial main eventer. I think lifetime long now. And it seems she's going to be holding this longer because Rhea's now injured. So there's no finishing that off yet. So let's get into my final thoughts on Crown Jewel 2024. So to wrap up the Crown Jewel 2024 PL recap, I would say a couple things. The PLE as a whole, I think people will be a lot more harsher on because it is a Saudi show. There is a stigma behind Saudi shows because of how bad they were at the beginning and how they do tend to have bad decisions here and there. I think every decision they went through is justifiable and correct, probably. The right person won and the right person lost, and I think they all took it in the best way. No one was buried on this show. I'd say as a con, again, I would say if you literally just clicked this out of existence, we would have been at the exact same spot either way, but it's the Saudi deal. What do you want? It's a PLE, and it's an excuse to have a long ass show with top wrestlers doing top things, and I'm more than happy with it. And if they never do it again, I won't shed a tear. I'm sure they'll find a PLE that will be just as good, if not better, to fit in the slot. And if they're going to do what I think they're going to do and keep recycling this concept again and again, let's just say I hope there's different champions, because otherwise this could get dull. If you have a Roman Reigns versus, if Gunther holds this title for 2 years and we have Cody do a Roman Reigns 3-year run, this would get boring quickly. But overall, thumbs up PLE. Crowd was an 8.5. I think if they had that energy for the women's matches as the same as they had for the men's matches, because even the main event, they weren't tired. They were so loud throughout the whole thing. They were 10 out of 10 for certain matches, but it's just the intensity that France, Germany, and other places, Puerto Rico and other places, they just kept the whole way through and didn't divot. So I'd say 8.5, because there's definitely 1.5 where they were just kind of not when they could have been. So I'd say 8.5 crowd. Matches quality, I would give a 9, actually, because point me where there was a bad match on that PLE. Randy versus Kevin wasn't a match, and it was still fantastic. So yeah, I'd say 9 for the matches, and presentations a 10. Genuinely, I would give this PLE an 8, maybe an 8.5 on the ratings. With being honest, the reason it can't go above an 8, probably, I think, forget 8.5, it's an 8 max, because the matches won't happen again later. It doesn't matter, basically, and that sucks. But at the end of the day, neither do house shows, and they're some of the best matches of the year. So 8 out of 10 PLE, fantastic. So thank you guys so much for watching the PL recap for Crown Jewel 2024. I'm going to be trying to get back into making videos. I got a lot of good feedback from friends, family, some of you lovely people in the comments. And yeah, I love doing this, as much as it doesn't seem, because it's been 2 months since I've done it. But this is a passion. I enjoy it. So if you could subscribe, leave a comment, if you disagree with me, put it in the comments. I'd love to have a conversation. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you Monday. Take care, everyone.